In today's UAAP news, UE finally gets their new coach and FSAs can never win the MVP award. All that and more coming up. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Gab Lim, and Mr. Maui Up. What's up?
Some UAP news to talk about. Some positive, some
Con-
not so positive.
controversial UAAP news. Let's start with the positive siguro, no? UE, we've been talking about this team a lot lately. Meron na silang si Coach Eric Altamirano na yung lead, tapos naging Josh Reyes, tapos nawala ulit. Finally, they land their new coach in Coach Chris Gavina. Want to get your initial reactions on this. What are your thoughts on the pick? Chris Gavina as the new UE Red Warriors coach. Let's start with you, Gab.
I'm just happy that they found someone who's willing to take the job. Uh, it's just not a good look when a former
Yeah,
UAP champion coach
actually.
Eric Altamirano chooses to remain the NBTC director instead of coaching once again in the UAAP. It's not good when Josh Reyes, former Batangilas coach, he's not really the most highly regarded coach. Even he does not want to take the UE job, or maybe is
It says
somehow.
something.
No, it says something about the UE program that these guys are not even considering trying out to be the coach of the UE Red Warriors. Maybe UE is choosy. Maybe there's something about the UE program that just doesn't appeal to these coaches. But finally, they got Chris Gavina. Now, for those who don't know, I think Chris Gavina was a draft pick of the PBA long ago. I think he's a childhood friend of Alex Cabagnot. He was supposed to play in the PBA. I don't think he got the necessary paper, so did not end up playing in the PBA. But he has some coaching experience in the PBA. I think he coached Terra Firma for a while, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Then was an assistant coach in Rain or Shine. I do remember that he was an assistant coach in Rain or Shine, and then most recently, I think he coached the Taiwan Mustangs, where he
Taiwan.
coached his friend si Alex Cabagnot. If the Filipino fans remember, Gilas did play an exhibition game against the Taiwan Mustangs in Phil Sports Arena in Ultra. So I was there. It was a blowout. They had si Alex Cabagnot, as I said, si Sam Teguara, the 7'5" at or 7'6" huge guy who played also for San Miguel in the ASEAN Basketball League. So he does have some professional coaching experience. What I'm happy here is that I think Coach Chris has some connections, especially in the US, especially in the professional ranks. He's a good friend of Alex Cabagnot, who's been around, played for San Miguel for a long period of time, won a ton of championships, played in the international level uh, in Taiwan yung most recently. So hopefully he brings those with him, because honestly, aside from coaching acumen, we've said this many times. You're gonna need a ton more to make UE, especially in the current UAAP landscape where unfortunately, funding is king. Cash is king in the UAAP. You're gonna need that to compete and to recruit the best players. Sadly, it's become that way, and hopefully Chris Covina can bring some of that. Bring some sponsors in. Yung bring a big time sponsor. Maybe he's made some connections, some friends who can bring in some funding into the UE program and convince some players to say. I know si John Abate has said that he would stay. Well, like he has another choice of going to another school. Now he will probably stay in UE. I hope si Precious. We've seen some pictures with him with Coach Topex. I do hope he stays in UE. Uh, so hopefully, I hope si Rainier Maga stays in UE, si Devin Fikes. So they do have some pieces there. Uh, I don't question the talent that they have. They do have some talented players on the team. It's whether they can keep that talent and bring in new talent. Sammy, you've mentioned the UE Juniors program and how far they've come. They're now winning. They did they win the championship in the junior high school? They did, diba? Did they?
Ata. I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
They were unbeaten for a long while.
yeah. So I think they did win the championship in the juniors division. Now their boys team, for those who are confused, juniors and junior high school, boys ang senior high school. So they split it up already. Hindi na juniors yung whole high school division. So now their boys team and juniors team are winning. So meaning there's a lot more funding going into those two programs, and they're getting young talent in the juniors ranks. Hopefully, you can bring them up to the seniors ranks and continue to win. But aside from play style, I don't. It's hard to judge kasi his stints at Terra Firma. Terra Firma, I think you all know what Terra Firma
We
is.
all know.
Team.
We all know.
We all know what Terra Firma is. It's kind of hard to judge a coach based on what he does at Terra Firma or what he did at Terra Firma. Just ask our good batchmate si Wami Chongson what happens at Terra Firma. I think he can tell you all you need to know. They had a good season. They had a good conference, I think, last season, and they traded away their top guy. So I think that tells you all you need to know about yung Terra Firma. His stints in Taiwan, I have not been familiar, and I've not been watching their games. I just watched their one game against Gilas, and that was a blowout. So don't want to judge him based on that. So since they're bringing a new coach, UE is suddenly more exciting to watch in the preseason. So I know we'll see a lot of them in Phil Oil, yung in Pinoy Liga. I'm excited to see what system they're bringing in, because a lot of the recruits from Coach Jackson Tiago were recruited based on the play style of Coach Jackson Tiago. Diba? Jackson Tiago likes to shoot a lot of threes, so he brought in a ton of shooters, guys who can spread the floor. Sila Ethan Galang, sila Devin Fikes, John Abate, Guelo Lingo, Rainier Maga. So will he continue that since he has the pieces for that kind of system? Will he continue the high 3-point shooting offense that Coach Jack Yung likes to do? Will he employ a slower type of offense? Maybe get more Precious Momoway post-ups again? I hope not, but wow. Pero yun, no? I'll wait and see muna for Coach Chris. And hopefully we get some recruiting news for UE. Again, this is a fan base that has been pained for a long time, and they were pained a lot last season. They were heartbroken. So I'm hoping for some success. Maui, Sam.
Ako, initial reaction ko, totoo ba? Totoo na ba finally?
May
Kasi,
pictures, Maui. May pictures.
May contract
pictures.
signing na eh. May contract signing na eh.
May contract signing na, pero di ba, as we all know in history in the UAAP, there are some coaches na at the last minute bigla nagbo-bolt din. But yeah, happy for UE finally, di ba? I think si Coach Chris Gavina was also the coach of yung Phil-Am Nation select team led by Andy Humao during the latest NBTC. Si Gabi's right. He probably has connections in the US. He can probably tap yung Phil-Am Nation. Siguro yung mga hindi pinakamahal na prospects na Phil-Am Nation, he can harness them. Diba? But let's see what will happen with UE. I'm excited to see. Diba? Kasi they're gonna get a new coach, a new system. Somebody who's looking to build the culture. Will he be able to utilize Momoy the right way? Diba? Kasi parang this season, Momoy wasn't utilized the right way. Which is surprising kasi si Coach Jack has also been the coach of Momoy the past few seasons. Diba? But Momoy has a specific skill set that I think that they really have to build upon. They have a ton of guards who can run pick and rolls. Will they run more pick and rolls? Shoot less threes? Rely more on executing in the inside, maximizing Momoy's strengths. Excited to see how they play in the off-season. Tama si Gabi, it's been a very, I guess the easiest way to say it is up and down, but it's been a pretty hectic and crazy season for UE with all the ups and downs. I haven't seen a season like this for any UAAP team, as I've mentioned in our previous episodes. It's gonna be interesting to see if they can bounce back. I think that's one of the main reasons why si Coach Jack was booted out for another coach this offseason. They need a fresh start. They need somebody who can boost morale. Diba? Kasi, I don't know, maybe the morale is even lower after a surprising season because of that very infamous choke job during the second round. But nowhere to go but up. I think that's where UE fans have to really rely on. Hopefully, they get more consistent. During the previous season, kasi they relied heavily upon their three-point shot. When teams were able to do a better coverage of that, that's when they started to falter. Diba? I think we mentioned this in our previous episodes. When Galang and Lingo-Lingo started to not score and struggle, that's when they really turned sour. Their team turned sour, diba? So hopefully we get more consistent sets. Hopefully we get I'm hoping talaga they utilize Momoe. I don't know, will Momoe stay? I think that's the number one question right now. Who of the players will leave?
Yep.
Kasi these players were recruited by Coach Jack with a specific system in mind. Diba? So that's all eyes are on UE again this off-season. But hopefully much like UST, they can turn their program around. Diba? Kasi for guys like us, I think Gab and Sabi, sanay kami that we were on the top. Diba? When we started I'm gonna reveal our age again. When we started watching the UAAP, UE was a powerhouse, diba? With players like Artadi, players like James Yap,
Tubid.
Tubid, eventually, sila James Martinez. I mean, the list goes on. Paul Lee. And I mean, there are a lot of UE prospects. Just look at the 10-year timeline of the PBA. Diba? A lot of these players have done pretty well professionally. And we haven't seen a ton of UE players really excel, except for maybe si Clint Chamis, diba? Which ironically is a player who left UE. But hopefully they can build upon this. I don't know if the right route is to retain the players or completely revamp the program. Maybe they could retain some of the players who can fit Coach Chris' system and then rebuild. But it's gonna be painful. Diba? Kasi yung expectations ng UE fans right now is to make the Final Four after that first round last year. And you're getting a new coach, you're getting a new program. So my hope is they give him time. Diba? Give him the benefit of the doubt and give him probably 2 seasons at the very least, diba? To prove himself. Kasi hirap diba? When you get into college, you need at least 2 to 3 years to build up. Diba? Not all coaches are like Coach Tab who can turn around the team or Coach Topex who have the right pieces but maybe the wrong system. Diba? Even UEP, when they were building up, had to take a few years to fully build up that huge program. Diba? Hopefully that happens. And as Gab mentioned, that can only happen if they get sponsors. So hopefully some team sponsors. Sana yung TANs are more open to other sponsors. Not just their brands, not just their companies. Actually, very hopeful ako nung before na rumored ang SGA to enter into UE, but that did not happen. So let's see. Maybe a team to watch out for is UE.
For me, I'm happy for UE. They finally get their coach. Sabi nga ni Gab, diba? It was a long process. Ang daming iba-ibang rumored coaches that were going in, and it didn't look good on UE as a school or as a team na bakit nagkakagulo kayo with the coaches? Bakit kayo nahihirapan? You're not getting the coaches na supposedly were your top choices, diba? But I also like the Chris Gavina pick. So I'm happy that they get their coach. And another thing why it's important for them to get their coach soon or ASAP is we all know a lot of the teams, they start training as early as the start of the year. After Christmas, start of the year, may mga teams na nagtitrain na diba? So the fact na it's already halfway through Feb and wala pa silang coach, that's not good. Especially since Maui na mention nyo in Gab na there's a possibility that a lot of their main guys from last season might just walk away, might decide to walk away. They sort of mentioned that or hinted at that already. So, kung matagalan pa sila to pick a coach, it might just make things worse for them. But I like what Maui said. I like that I think that they should give Coach Chris Gavina enough time to sort of build this team in the way he wants to build it. Kasi obviously he's inheriting a team from Coach Jack Santiago, 'di ba? But I'm also not worried, I would say, kasi si Coach Jack Santiago, I think every season na lang for the past 3-4 seasons, sabi natin nasa hot seat, nasa coaching hot seat, and never naman talaga siya natanggal. In fact, for me, this was the season na I wouldn't have let go of Coach Jack Santiago because he actually surprised us at the start of the UAAP season. So, I think Coach Chris Gavina will get some time to build this team and develop yung, I guess, the culture and the system for UE. One thing though is, I guess another question for me, na mention ni Gab, the juniors and the boys teams are solid, are getting really good. How does Coach Chris Gavina also build relationships with those teams or yung coaching staff doon? Alam natin in a lot of teams, yung coaching staff ng juniors or boys teams are also part of the coaching staff of the college teams, diba? So I think that's something that they should also look into or build on. We know NU is like that. Ateneo recently changed their coaches, so something to look into for me for Coach Chris Gavina para mas ma-build talaga yung yung culture, yung system. Gab, anything you want to say before we move on to the next topic? The controversial topic.
Wala naman masyado. Yung natuwa lang ako sa sinabi ni Maui na yung EU much talk about team this off-season kasi sila lang talaga yung naglalabas ng news. So
sila lang may balita eh. Okay, but ito, speaking of news or balita, this is big. The UAAP just announced or recently announced na there is a new rule, which is a new award, which is the best foreign student athlete award, the best FSA award, which essentially means that if an FSA is on the top of the statistical points by the end of the season, they're not going to win the MVP. It essentially ensures or guarantees na yung MVP award will go to a local player, and the best FSA, whether they are the best player statistically by the end of the season, they will get the best FSA award. We've talked about MVP awards and how it's scored or whatever in previous episodes. So I'm very curious about how the two of you feel about this. I see you guys are shaking your heads. A lot of people are shaking their heads. Gab, let's start with you because alam ko you have a lot of feelings about this, and then we'll go with Maui.
Bullshit. Yun lang ang masasabi ko. What a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry. I know we've complimented Attorney Rebo Sakisan multiple times in the past couple of years.
Very progressive.
Very progressive, right? But this is just so regressive. This is backward thinking, xenophobia at its finest. What are you doing? It started when
Mala PBA itong galaw na to.
Yeah, mala PBA. Exactly. Mala PBA, nakakasuka. When I saw the news, ito lang talaga reaction ko, guys. Napa-face pa ako, napa-rub ako ng mga temples kasi parang it started in season 85, diba? The last time we talked about this was season 85. They quietly changed the formula for how to calculate statistical points by doubling the value of assists and steals. Again, I would like to repeat, there is no precedent. There is no logical reason why you would double the value of assists and steals. They're not more valuable than points or rebounds or blocks or whatever, but it was essentially to uh, tip the scales towards the guards, the locals, the perimeter players, which were mostly Filipinos. That's the reason why in season 85, for the majority of the elimination round, si Forsky was second place because he was leading the league in assists. Even though obviously si Malik Diouf was the one leading in totality of statistical points, Forsky was right there behind him because of the double of assists and steals that would count for statistical points. We talked about this a lot. It is 85. You could watch back. We criticized this formula a ton in season 85, and it kind of went under. We never talked about it again. We sort of put it there in our episodes, but it still has not changed until season 87, and now they're doubling down on it. They want to tip the scales towards the Filipinos / the locals. So now they're completely taking away the foreign student athletes from winning the award, which is, to me, as I said, it's bullshit. Why? They're student athletes also. They're players. They're human beings. Why are we creating a different award just for them? Yes, we also give best FSA awards here in Boleros, but we don't take away from the fact that these players are also eligible to win MVP because they are players also. They are students also of the same schools that participate in the UAAP. I don't know why you have to make that distinction. I don't know why this has to be a Filipino-only award. What's the point? Are we so scared that foreigners will upend us? Are Filipinos' ego so fragile na pag nanalo ang mga FSAs ng MVP? It feels like we're so yung inferior. Come on, if they're the best player, if FSA is the best player in the UAAP, award them the MVP. It shouldn't matter. That should come as a challenge to the locals to step up their game. Diba? I don't get it. This is so backward. I don't know, for the past couple of seasons, again, we praised the UAAP, the coaches challenge, they introduced it. They got rid of four game days. The reviews got quicker, diba? We didn't talk about it this past season, but they introduced guest teams in the high school football division. So ang daming bago, fresh, and progressive things na ginagawa ang UAAP, but they're also doing these stupid things that I don't want to see, like the residency rule. They're going against a law that was implemented because of them, and now this. What is the UAAP doing? And I know I sound like a hater. It's just not coming from a hater. It's just coming from a place of love because I love this league. I've been watching. The three of us have been watching this league for, as Maui said, decades now. Decades na kami nanonood ng UAAP. Yun ang paborito kong panoorin. Pang UAAP season, sobrang locked in ako. Gusto kong manood ng UAAP because I love it. And this is something just utterly stupid and disgusting that the UAAP is doing. Xenophobia. It's just xenophobia. I thought we were past this. Diba? We are supposed to be past this. We're supposed to be past making Pinoys and Filipinos and locals number one palagi. Yung kailangan yung Pilipino palagi ang on top. That's sobrang lumang pag-iisip noon. Bakit natin ginagawa yun? 2025 na, guys. Hindi na dapat yun ang pag-iisip ng mga tao. Yung I know some people are gonna disagree with me, go ahead. But in my opinion, this should not be. We have gone past. If a player is the best player, whether he's Filipino or not, he should be awarded the MVP. If he's the best player, give him the best player award. Give him that. Why do we have to exclude them from it? It just goes to show how fragile the egos of the UAP board is, or whoever's making these decisions. How fragile their egos are. Na sobrang takot sila ng puro FSA yung maging MVP, na they're creating a rule just to exclude them from it. Talaga, so what kung puro FSA yung MVP? They're the best players, you give them the award. It's being applied now. Yung pa sa amin, season 87. So
Yeah.
si Collins Akoe, if you
Yep.
guys are not familiar,
Yep.
Collins Akoe from the NU
The defending MVP.
Baby Bulldogs was is on track to win his second straight MVP. I think he's averaging
Mhm.
22 points and 19 rebounds a game.
Mhm.
He's dominating in the boys division.
Yep.
And they're excluding him. He's not going to win MVP. Why? Why not?
And
He's
and
dominating. Go ahead, Sam.
and ito pa yung malala he found out during a post-game interview right after their win. During the post-game
Talaga?
interview, sinabihan siya, what do you think about the new rule? Tas he was shocked. Sabi niya, he was disappointed. He only found out about the new ruling during a post-game interview. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Anyway, go ahead, Gab.
I do hope this is not a stepstone, a stepping stone for banning FSAs from the UAP. Because the NCAA is yung
Whoa.
Diba? Sam, they're already banning them from winning MVP. What's next? Diba? Again, backwards. So, we saw how why the B League is so successful and why it's upped its level of competition. Why Japan is producing such good players. Yuki Kawamura. Because they're playing against better competition. Because they're introducing imports. They're not afraid of having foreigners come and be better players than their locals because it will challenge them. It will make them better players in the long run. Why are we so afraid of foreigners being better players than us? Why? Why are we so afraid of competition? Why? I don't get it. It will only make us better. The reason why we have Carl Tamayo and KQ as good as they are now is because we had FSAs. If we didn't have
Good
FSAs,
point.
they would
Yeah.
be centers. They would be trained
Yeah.
as centers and big guys. Diba? We said this all over again. The more talent you put into a league, the better the games will be, the better the players will be because they will step up. It's the nature of competition. If you have better competition, the better the overall environment, the better the overall league will be. Diba? There's nothing wrong with getting more talent, with getting better players inside a tournament or a league. I don't understand where this is coming from. I just don't understand it. Makalumang pag-iisip. Yun lang. Sobrang frustrating. Maui, go ahead. Sorry, ang tagal-tagal ko. Ang dami ko feelings.
Alam ko nga marami kang feelings eh. So Maui, why don't you share your thoughts and close it out?
Actually, maganda yung sinabi ni Gabi. I think it boils down to xenophobia, di ba? Filipinos, kailangan laging bida. Filipinos, crab mentality. It just sucks. Di ba? We've always praised the UAAP for being a league that's proactive, a league that's progressive. And now we get two new rules that are really the complete opposite. Diba? That residency rule is BS in my opinion, diba? Players like Turkulas cannot play in the UAAP because of that rule. Diba? If he wants to. Diba? We see a lot of players taking hits left and right. Some of them haven't even played in the UAAP and now we're getting this type of rule for FSAs. And I'm afraid si Gab brought up a very good point. Is this the first step to for the UAAP to finally ban foreign student athletes also in the UAAP? I wanted to, the whole time I was thinking we wouldn't have a Carl Tamayo, we wouldn't have a Kevin Kiambao if these rules existed in the first place. Diba? Kasi tama si Gabi, when we have better competition, we have a better product. I mean, that's why a lot of people continue to watch the UAAP and are now engaged in the UAAP. It's why it's the Premier League, basketball league here in the Philippines. It's why we produce a lot of international talent. Diba? I think the UAAP should be proud that we produce a ton of international talent. Not just players who get to play in the PBA or even in Southeast Asia, but players who get to play abroad, farther abroad, like in Japan, even have a chance to play in the US. So it's crazy to me that they're starting to, I don't know, restrict players, diba? This is not a player move. Player move again. Next is, do we revert back to the old formula now that FSAs are not included in the MVP formula? Diba? That's, I think, another thing
Good
to
question.
consider. Diba? Kasi the main reason why they put up that formula in the first place was because all FSAs were winning awards. Diba? But KQ was able to show this season that he can put up points on the board regardless of the assists and the steals. It's disappointing as a fan, 'di ba? And as a long time stakeholder. Sabihin ko na stakeholders tayo kasi fans tayo. I mean, we've been fans for close to 2 decades or even more, 'di ba, of the UAAP, and we've been happy with the progress that we've been making, 'di ba? I mean, there's a reason why yung competition in the UAAP is a lot higher than the competition in the NCAA. Diba, players like Will Gozum cannot play center in the UAAP. It's moving backwards, diba? These types of moves you question it. Is the UAAP really progressive, diba? Is the UAAP really a proactive league, diba? I don't know, the past few seasons have been crazy. I think we're looking at issues at the wrong way. Diba? Yung player transfers, we're handling it the wrong way. FSA's winning all of the MVP awards, we're handling it the wrong way. Diba? There's a reason why it's called most valuable player. Diba? In basketball. Diba? He's the most important, he's the most talented, he's the best player. Diba? Why are we discriminating against FSAs when even in the last 2 seasons, a non-FSA has won the award? Diba? It's been shown that it's possible to beat FSAs. Diba? It's just crazy.
And in season 87, Maui, the top 2 players were not FSAs. It was a local na Phil Foreign, di ba? So, kaya.
Kaya nga. Kaya. Tsaka, if we're discriminating FSA, ano yan, next, we're gonna discriminate Phil Ams. Kailangan pure Filipino na to win the UAAP award. Ano, parang
Best
PBA.
Phil Foreign Award.
God, kung gawin
Diba?
nila yun, sobrang sakit sa ulo.
Ano, para
Grabe.
na tayong PBA that we restrict teams to a number of Phil foreigners, 'di ba? It opens up Pandora's box in my opinion. It's such a bad take that I don't know what direction the UAAP is gonna take next, 'di ba? These past 2 rules. 'Di ba? We just had yung good rule that we get yung coaches challenge, 'di ba? And it's continuing. Some of them are good, 'di ba? I think splitting the juniors division into 2 is also good, 'di ba? Kasi it gives opportunity to junior high school students to showcase their talents, 'di ba? Ini-integrate mo na into 1 league instead of having that Prada Paya a ton of different leagues. But grabe yung I can just imagine Colin Acowe's reaction when this was announced, 'di ba? Do I still want to play in the Philippines after this announcement, di ba? I mean, it's crazy. This is purely discriminatory, purely xenophobia. There has to be a better way to address this, di ba? So, paano yun? If we have this FSA award, pati ba yung mythical team? Bawal na FSAs? I don't know. It's just opening a lot of questions. It's opening a lot of potentially bad decisions down the road. I hope they do a better job of tackling yung issues kasi parang ang weird nung solutions nila to some of the issues that we face in the UAAP, diba? It's a commercial, it's turning into a commercial league, and I think the politics is getting crazy, the funding is getting crazy. Like next thing we know, we probably will lose the local fan base, diba? The loyal fan base of the UAAP. That spells trouble, diba? When the UAAP continues to rise because of a few teams, diba? I think UP is one of the teams that we can mention, and it's because of the popularity of their team. What happens when UP is a bad team again, diba? And you lose a lot of the loyal fan base, diba? You have to continue to build the product to the fan base, to the loyal fan base, and hopefully they do a better job, diba? That's all we can hope for. Diba? They do a better job of tackling these types of issues. Grabe, it's 2 off seasons in a row that we've been introduced to a crazy rule. I can't imagine what's gonna happen next season.
Mahaba-haba pa yung off-season, Maui. Baka within this off-season, meron pang madagdag na crazy rule. So, relax ka lang dyan. Um, to answer your question, supposedly, so they are not allowed to win MVP, but they're still eligible to make it to the mythical team. But still, diba? The point is like this opens up a lot of other questions or a lot of other possibilities na pwede mangyari down the road. I think that's what you're also trying to say. So I agree this was a bit of a surprising move for the UAAP and disappointing, I would say. Sabi ko nga, Colin Sakoe sort of shared his disappointment during the post-game interview. I think yung coach niya si Kevin De Castro also mentioned na he was sad for Colin Sakoe because of this new rule. I'm curious to hear what other players or coaches might have to say about this new rule, but I have a feeling na most of them will not be happy with this new ruling. And again, to your point, Maui, last 2 seasons, KQ did it. And this season, it was KQ and Mike Phillips. So,
Kahit sa women's,
it's
di ba si Kate De La Rosa won the award with all of the FSAs.
yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So, what's the issue? I think parang there's no issue. I mean, people can do it. Locals can do it. So, what's the issue? I mean, maybe if kung meron masabi nila, oh, in the past 50 years, FSA's not. But still, even then, diba? If they deserve it, they deserve it. But the fact na locals have been winning, it just makes things worse. Na parang it doesn't make sense right now, and I think that's the issue right now. Any last words before we go?
You know, as Maui said, UAP just do better. We're fans. All three of us are fans. We watch games. I think we watch games more than the casual UAP fan. I mean, nung 4 games a day, pinaparod namin yung 4 games. Ganun kami ka-addict sa UAP. Well, of course, we have to talk about it on on a podcast, but we love watching games. Nagwawala kami pang close game ng NU at Adamson, 'di ba? And they're not even the more popular teams, pero nagwawala kami. Because it's exciting, it's fun basketball. The best basketball to watch in the country, and I don't know, the leadership has to do better. The leadership just has to do better.
You don't
this
want
was
to be the next
announced-
PBA.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Just to put it out there, I was a former PBA fan. I loved the PBA as a kid. Until at my teenage years, I was watching the PBA. They lost me when the obvious farming just cropped up. San Miguel fan ako dati. Fan ako ng San Miguel Bears. And Danny S, Danny I, Olsen, those teams. I was a fan. I still have a sando of a San Miguel Beerman logo. I was a fan. But they lost me as a fan when it's obvious that they were manipulating the league in the wrong way. Diba? They were introducing policies and decisions that just were plain disgusting. And the UAAP, I hope, does not lose me as a fan. Because if they've lost me as a fan, they have probably lost a ton of other fans already. Because I'm one of the more intense fans. So I hope that does not happen. I hope the UAAP corrects this. They have to correct it. Again, if someone is the best player, deserves the MVP award, you give it to them. Regardless of race, nationality, regardless of where they're from, if they deserve it, they deserve it. That should not be a factor in awarding an MVP to anyone. Do better. Yun lang. Do better.
Do better. That's something that we can all live by this week. So keep that in mind, guys, sa mga ginagawa nyo this week. With that, let's end it there. Comment down below your thoughts on UE's new coaching hire, the new Best FSA Award. Share with us your thoughts. We'd love to reply to them. We'd love reading your comments. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. We'll talk more about Gilas and more UAAP news as they come soon. Bye-bye.